I feel like we should not be recommending Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, that shouldn't be my mom's the word?
No, this should not be our stamp of approval from AnchorMoms is Little House on the Prairie.
Why? What are you saying?
Bit more,
like, you think it's not modern enough?
No.
I'm so
Bluey,
surprised. I'm so surprised to hear
National Geographic.
Like, are you taking? You think it's like a little too traditional? You think it's a little too traditional?
No. I just
what
think
are you saying?
it's like makes us sound old.
Leaders from Asheville and Buncombe County.
From the newsroom to the nursery.
We're juggling a demanding career on live TV with the demands of motherhood.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Karen.
They are AnchorMoms.
Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of AnchorMoms, the podcast. Glad you're with us. Also, just a note in this new year, if you're not aware, we are on YouTube.
I was literally not sure where you were. It's like, what's the note? What's the news? Oh, yeah, we are on YouTube.
We are on YouTube. So if you'd like to see our beautiful faces.
And who wouldn't?
With all my 42-year-old wrinkles, then tune on in to YouTube.
Tune on in. I mean, I thought we just talked about in the last podcast that it's because of our hustle culture in our younger days.
Right.
And
we have the wrinkles because we've worked so hard in our careers and in our lives. And now we have children
right.
and husbands and
right.
stressful jobs and all the things.
Right.
Anyway, though, our wonderful editor, Matthew, does a great job putting the YouTube clips together.
Yeah.
So
it's fun.
It is. It is. You can see Katie's glorious pink jumpsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to talk about this?
No, I really wouldn't.
Oh, okay. All right, moving on.
I mean, what would you like me to say?
Well, I don't know. Last time we recorded, you had that beautiful brooch that you were showing off. So I didn't know if this was another
another
that
moment
you chose for the YouTube audience in particular.
Not particularly, but it does match the studio lighting in here.
It does. You sit on like the pink side, so it's perfect that you're wearing
true. Yeah.
the pink. I'm on the blue side and I'm wearing blue.
Did you do that on purpose?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
I'm not surprised.
Mm-mm.
So we've had a lot of snow days here in Asheville, and we've been trying to, watch some things as a family. And one of the things,
Home Alone 2.
No, we're past that. We're over that. It's January. One of the things that we have been enjoying, much to my surprise, is all of the episodes of Little House on the Prairie.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This was
okay.
Brian's idea.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, you should. Did you know there's like 10 seasons? There's like 90 episodes of Little House on the Prairie. Yeah.
Of all the things to watch on TV in 2025,
here we are.
You chose
We're
Little
on
House
episode
on the Prairie.
5. We're on episode 5.
Oh, okay.
And there's just a lot to break down there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like by the time I was watching Little House on the Prairie, I was like home from school sick. Like I don't remember watching it. Like I remember watching reruns of it, but Brian, who's a little bit older than me, and he has a younger sister and an older sister, has watched every episode of Little House on the Prairie. Like knows the characters, like
he's all in.
Plot lines. It's been very eye-opening. I've learned a lot about him. But let me just tell you, the other thing is
have you learned a lot about your morals? Because I feel like that's what the point
is.
There's
just a lot of it's like nuclear family, like Michael Landon is like strong in chopping wood, and he's the one who decides like where they're gonna build their house. And Plum Creek, remember Plum Creek? That's a little town they moved to. And the other thing, my other takeaway from this is Michael Landon is like early 80s version of Michael Landon. There's like a lot to work with there.
Okay.
Like I understand why Ma Ingalls was there for it. I'm just letting you know. I'm at episode 5. I think he gets a little older. But
does Brian know that you're developing a crush on him?
We've had extensive conversations about hot 80s Michael Landon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like our version in our house of Little House on the Prairie was Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. I remember that too. Saturday mornings.
That was our main show.
What a dichotomy. Were those on at the same time?
I think so.
Surely not.
I mean, I'm close to Brian's age.
2 shows that are more. I don't know if Brian was like allowed to watch Saved by the Bell. I have to.
I was
ask
not
him.
allowed to watch MTV.
I know. I remember you saying that.
We would have to kind of sneak it. But yeah, we watched Saved by the Bell. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We did not watch as much Little House on the Prairie. I'm shocked that you are. I'm shocked that anyone is going to
like we're the only ones watching. I don't even know what we're streaming it on.
Yeah.
But River, like every night after her bath, is like, can we watch an episode of Little House on the Prairie?
Wow. Okay.
I mean, like, you know, yes. Like, and Brian and I laugh because the kids are so excited. Like they get like a penny for Christmas and they can buy like a slate chalkboard for school. And they're, you know, this is
River like, where's the iPad? Is she understanding that this was way back in the day and things were different?
We, like the first episode, which I don't know if it's the pilot, I don't know what is happening, but they built a log cabin together, like the whole family. And River was like, and this was like a legit question. She was like, when will we build something as a family like this?
Like, well, actually, part of our house was crushed during Helene,
right.
so we're kind of
like
back
get
in
out
this.
there and start chopping the wood.
Yeah. We've got plenty of wood to chop up, River.
Yeah,
we can do this.
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
Anyway, it's been like a sweet little walk down my childhood. Yeah, like a walk down memory lane. Like I said, my husband's his memory and knowledge of Little House on the Prairie, I'm not even kidding. Like he's like, oh, remember the Mercantile, Nellie Olson, Mrs. Olson, she's a real bee.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mr. Olson is like embarrassed about his kids. I'm like, he's like a Plum Creek expert.
Connoisseur. Wow. Who knew?
I don't know if you're looking for a show. When you get tired of Home Alone 2 and PJ Masks.
I feel like we should not be recommending Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, that shouldn't be my mom's the word?
No, this should not be our stamp of approval from AnchorMoms is Little House on the Prairie.
Why? What are you saying?
Bit more,
like you think it's not modern enough?
No.
I'm so
Bluey,
surprised.
You know.
I'm so surprised to hear
National Geographic.
Like, are you taking? You think it's like a little too traditional? You think it's a little too traditional?
No. I just think
saying?
It's like makes us sound old.
Oh, like you're worried that people are going to be.
Because our target audience, right, is really those young hip moms.
But
they don't care
like
about Little House on the Prairie.
They might. It might be vintage.
Oh, it's back in now?
It might be. It might be like the brooch.
We're hitting all the trends on the second time around.
I'm wearing brooches and I'm watching Little House on the Prairie. I see nothing wrong with this. Nothing
We've
wrong
got
with
our
any
glass
of this.
Tupperware.
Yeah.
We're just ready to take
Your
on
glass
the day.
Tupperware. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh my guys. Okay, let's get to the first article so we can get away
Move on from Little House on the Prairie.
House on the Prairie. Struggling with work-life balance.
Yes.
If you're watching Little House on the Prairie, that would be an affirmative.
Yeah.
Give the pendulum lifestyle a try. Okay, this is something this article talks about. Of course, you know, when you hit those places in life where you're struggling with how to maintain your home life, your work life, all the things, you're feeling a little bit out of whack. Instead of seeking perfection, which is almost a myth, pendulum lifestyle encourages you to accept life's inherent fluidity. This means instead of chasing a perfect balance, one has to acknowledge the experiences, emotions, interactions are constantly changing. So you're supposed to kind of refocus on a rhythm and kind of diving all in to the ups and the downs and being ready for that pendulum to swing rather than always seeking perfection.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some truth to this. I also think that,
easier said than done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're wondering how exactly to go about doing this, there's some ideas. A full body and soul check in the morning.
I don't have time for that.
I don't either. Make adjustments to your routine accordingly. Compassion and curiosity. Two things we both thrive in. And understand that the pendulum swings. Realize what's working and what's holding you back. I think these are some good things to keep in mind. I just don't know
how to achieve it.
Mm-hmm. Feels a little bit tricky in our current state of life.
Okay, so I will say this. I did have one of the things it's not a New Year's resolution because, we don't believe in those. But like one of the things I sort of realized at the end of 2024 when like it was just such a bad year, as we've cataloged a lot on this podcast. Hurricane, My dad passed away. I didn't tell you this. Our dog got a terminal diagnosis. That's like another story just last week. And like I just had this thought that, you're never going to get – it's like there's never going to be – like this is just the way life goes. Mm-hmm. And if like you're always trying to get through, I'm going to get through this hard thing and like then things are going to be good. Like that's just not the way life exists. Like like even day to day, week to week, like there's going to be good things and there's going to be bad things. And the sort of the best way to acknowledge that is to – or just to deal with that is just to know that that's just going to be. That's just like the reality of life is that sometimes are good, sometimes are bad, sometimes are sort of in between, and to not like the really bad things sway you one way or maybe even like the really good things sway you the other, just to hang out there in the middle. I don't know that am I achieving that? Is that happening for me right now? I don't know, but it's nice to think about. It's a good thing to remember.
I think it is a good thing to keep in mind. And I think you're right. I think focusing more on the middle.
Right.
And less on the big ups and the big downs, and just being comfortable in that space.
Yeah.
I think there's sometimes when I feel like I should be doing more or why isn't this here or why aren't my kids here or, just all the different expectations we face every day. To take a step back from that and say, we are where we are.
Yeah. Right.
And that's where we are.
And there's nothing you can do about it. And, there's like the universe, it doesn't work that way that, things are going to be really bad and then they're all of a sudden going to be very good, or things are going to be very good. And they're like, it's just everything. Life is very frequently lived in the middle of all of that, Right. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not really into like woo-woo spiritual checks in the morning when I wake up. But
at 2 a.m., you don't want to do that?
I don't. Do you?
No.
But I like the idea of it.
Yeah. I mean, when I wake up, it's which child is in bed, what happened.
That's when you do your best spiritual checks.
How much sleep did I get? Yeah. Body and soul check in the morning.
Oh.
If you are a person who has time for that, I think it sounds great.
I know. We should make time
for
that.
For me right now.
We should make time for the body and soul check.
All right. Set your alarm 5 minutes earlier, Katie.
Some people do that, I think.
I think they do. We have friends who love that first time. We have friends who wake up early to have coffee with their spouse in a peaceful, quiet house before the crazy of the day begins.
I think
which sounds lovely.
I think my sister-in-law, I don't know if she wakes up with her spouse, but I think she does like wake up, try to wake up before. She has 3 kids, like try to wake up before them to have a cup of coffee.
Maybe there will be a day that happens for me. That day is not today.
It's not here.
No.
Your soul is saying, let's keep sleeping.
Yes. Every ounce of sleep I can get. It's funny. Ella Ray got a new kind of smartwatch type thing for Christmas. And it's not really, I mean, she can't call people, but she does have a couple of features. And one of them is tracking her sleep.
How is that going?
Great. She wakes up every day and says, oh, look, I got 10 hours and 47 minutes of sleep last night. And I'm like, you don't have to tell me every day. Yeah. I mean, almost every day it's about 11 hours, which is great, I think, for a kid. But it really hurts my soul every time.
That's your soul check. Your soul is aching when you hear that. Your soul and body are aching.
Can you imagine regularly getting
No, but I think that's what it is when you're 9. Like you're like, okay. Okay.
Anyway, do you have a win for us?
Let's move on.
No, a mom's.
Yeah, I do. Some more important things. This will really get your body and soul in check, I can promise you. And it has to do with your eyebrows because
because that's where my body and soul need help.
That's where my body. Well, I mean, that's where my body and soul like to live. To be honest, focus on my eyebrows. So this is called Moms. By the way, this Moms the Word is a little segment where we like to recommend something for you. Karen always recommends things like glass Tupperware, and I usually have something a little more bouge. It's Glossier, and it's called a brow flick. It's like a little pencil.
I've heard of Glossier. I have some of their other products.
Okay. It's the brow flick.
Okay.
And it has
what does that mean?
It like gives you it's a little pen where you flick your brows. You can get little flicks. You can fill in your brows.
Oh my. Okay.
I don't know why you make me I feel like that's like self-explanatory, by the way.
Not if you're a makeup dummy like I am.
Okay. Well, it's a brush tip and you can detail, fill, define your brows. $18. You can get it a little bit more expensive on Amazon. So
Okay.
don't go to Amazon. Go to
Pro
the
tip.
Glossier website or go to the Sephora website. And you can get it in brown, black, and then like a lighter cream color. I get it in the brown, even though my eyebrows are pretty dark. So
They are,
just a
yeah.
heads up. And I like it. I've been using it for years. I just reordered it this morning, which is what made me think about it.
You know my eyebrows always need work, so this is helpful.
Didn't you get some sort of eyebrow thing not that long ago?
No.
Yeah.
No.
And yes. Yeah. This is like a couple months ago. No?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, an eyebrow thing that you suggested.
Did I?
Yes. Yeah, but it wasn't a flick. It was just like a pencil filler in her.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Fine. Now that you mention it, I've been forgetting to use it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So it's been going real
keep us
well.
posted.
Yeah.
Sounds
real
good. Okay. All right.
well.
We'll post the Glossier brow flick in the show notes in case your body and soul lives with your eyebrows as well. All right. The second article comes from the BBC, and this is about picky eaters, which this is also a constant struggle at my house because I am a picky eater. And I don't know, I actually think it's pretty like developmentally normal to be kind of picky or like, have just like certain foods that you like to eat as a 6-year-old. But Brian claims that River is a picky eater because of me. Turns out, according to this study, that parents are not to blame for fussy eating. Researchers, as a large study, suggest fussy eating tendencies are mostly down to genetics rather than parenting styles. So this is a UK study. They looked at identical twins versus non-identical twins, and the identical twins had more similar picky habits or more adventurous eating habits like the identical twins did than the non-identical twins. And that suggests a strong genetic component to what you prefer to eat or how you feel about eating. And the study says that picky eating has less to do with parenting styles, more to do with genetics. And I think the gist of this article is not much you can do about it. Continue to offer a wide variety of foods. And I've read this before as well. Like even if your kids aren't eating it, continue to offer those foods.
I love this.
Does this make you feel good?
Phew.
Do you have you have 4 kids?
The pressure is off.
Are some of your kids more adventurous eaters than others?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I love these. I'm always so curious of like, okay, give me I went to a math and science based high school, and this is like that version of me.
Uh-huh.
I want like the scientific experiment that shows me, okay, I took 2 of the same thing and did this differently. Like how did it impact the outcome, So I love that they did this with twins and looked into this. I totally agree. I think so much of it is genetics. I did say in here that there's fussy eating tendencies peak at age 7.
Okay. I only have 6. I have a year 6 months left.
Yeah. I would agree with that, although my 9-year-old is still not a super great eater. But I obviously, and I think you can say this, I think you can definitely say this with food because I can tell you that I'm not making a different meal for all 4 of my children. I guarantee you, I don't have time for that. I make the same thing. I've done the same type of meal planning, prepping, cooking, try everything, try one bite of everything on your plate type of mentality for all 4 of my children. And one of them eats anything you put on the plate, anything. Great. He doesn't like potatoes. Otherwise, we'll eat anything.
What?
I know. Anything. Such a good eater. And then the girls both are very, very picky. And Sam's a little bit in between. But, he's only 3. I can see such a vast difference in what my kids eat. And I have done the exact same thing for all 4 of them. So I totally agree with this. I think your different
Predisposed.
bodies just are.
I'm kind of a picky eater.
I mean, Henry would eat all of the fruit.
Yeah.
I mean, he eats fruit like it's going out of style.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get a 3-pound bag of pears and they're gone in 2 days.
Pears are so good.
They are good. I'm just glad this kind of just reaffirms what I
Makes you
feel
feel
like
better.
I already knew
Yeah.
and I think it just takes the pressure off too. Look, if you've got picky kids, picky eaters, that's not your fault.
No,
You're good.
you're good.
Keep rocking it, mama.
Keep doing it.
You're doing awesome. There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it.
I do think, I have noticed that even if we repeatedly put stuff out, eventually
I'm
They
working
try
with
it.
River and the vegetables. Like, it is like
it's a struggle. Bennett loves some carrots. That's the only thing she's
sometimes
consistently
River will
eats.
eat carrots. And then other times she's like,
The frustrating thing is when they finally start eating something healthy, and then a couple weeks later, they're like, "We don't like that anymore."
I know.
I'm
And you're like, what do you mean? I just bought 6 bags of carrots. Yeah.
Okay.
I know you love this one.
This last article, friends, is called "Why Fridgescaping is the Most Unhinged Instagram Trend Yet." Whew. Okay, so we all know that on social media there are these trends, there's these things that happen. It talks about the wall-to-wall beige, displaying books the wrong way. I didn't even know that was a trend, but apparently that's a thing. They've got nothing on this new interior fad. This is a new thing. Apparently, did you know about this before this article?
Yeah, I saw it somewhere on the socials.
Wow. Okay, so this is called Fridgescaping. It's where you decorate the inside of your fridge. There's a theme, there's perhaps a painting, a picture, artwork, flowers. You organize your food in a wonderful way, and then you also add other things to make it look very visually appealing.
Like pictures,
Yes.
decorations, pottery,
I mean,
candles.
if you have not Googled this, you should.
Uh-huh.
It is
Oh, did you Google
unbelievable. Well, I saw some of the pictures that popped up even in this article. I literally laughed out loud in the newsroom when I read this. I mean, do you know the struggle that unfolds in our house when we have to clean out our fridge?
I know. I hate it too.
First of all, no one has time for this. This is absolutely ridiculous. But second of all, even if we did, of all the things to make beautiful in my home, the inside of my refrigerator
It's not on your list?
It's not on it.
I feel like now that we
Why?
have mentioned this, you're going to see this everywhere on the socials. Fridgescaping.
I don't get it.
I think it's funny.
There's nothing about this I get.
I think it's funny that they compare it to these other social media trends. Like, remember when, I don't know, maybe parents are still doing this, like we're all into like the neutral tones
Yes,
for
I think
like
that's still going on
the
some.
baby
Mhm.
rooms, or
Mhm.
like people make fun of millennials because they want like all gray, like gray
Mhm.
floors, gray
Mhm.
walls, gray
Mhm.
furniture,
Mhm.
like the sad gray interior. Like that's what they're saying. And I'm like, this like might take it a step further.
I don't agree with the beige, gray, minimalist theme, but I can at least see where they're coming from.
Right.
I could say, okay, I could see where some people might think that's nice to look at,
Yeah.
or that is a vibe they want in their home. No one should be decorating the inside of their refrigerator. That is insanity.
Yeah.
Why? Why? What's wrong
I don't
with people?
disagree with you. I mean, maybe if you're like a 20-something person and like that sounds fun and you're having like a dinner party. Like we barely have, I mean, not that we have tons of stuff in our
No,
fridge, but I
I
just feel
still
like there's
don't
like
get it.
so much going on in our fridge that I would be like, what's this, like a piece of pottery like in the middle of our fridge? Like, no.
It's absolutely insane to me.
Okay.
Hard pass.
Okay. You have a win?
I do have a win.
Tell me.
So if you're a newer listener or viewer on YouTube, I'm sure you are aware, but maybe haven't heard all of the backstory. Obviously, Helene came through last fall and really devastated our area. But it's interesting to me that I'm bringing this up now. I realized for a story I was working on the other day that it has been 110 days since Helene hit.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. So months and months and months
It
have
feels
gone by.
like 10 days to me. But
Yeah.
Okay.
So just kind of to put things in perspective, that's how long it's been since this tropical storm has done this to Western North Carolina, has hit in Western North Carolina. Bennett's gymnastics studio is finally opening.
Yeah, River goes to the same one.
Finally opening. And it is such a win.
Have
in
you
our
gone
household.
yet?
No, we go tomorrow.
Okay, because we go on Thursday too.
But can I tell you that for some reason, I think especially for Bennett, that was one of the most devastating things. I mean, I shouldn't say it that way. Obviously, that was not the most devastating thing, but for a 6-year-old,
when she's 6,
she loved gymnastics, and their poor gymnastics building was flooded and was really damaged in the storm, and has been closed ever since. And finally, months later, is now reopening, and it is the brightest spot in her little life right now. She switched back to ballet because the gymnastics place was closed, and she really doesn't love ballet. And it wasn't the right fit for her. And she has been asking every day, when is the gymnastics studio going to reopen? And it's finally reopening.
I know.
And she is so excited. So I think it's a win, obviously, for her. She gets to go back to doing an activity that she loves that was stopped abruptly because of the storm. But I think it's also a win for just the reminder that things, even though it's long and even though it's slow and we have to be patient, things are coming back. Things are hopefully on the more positive recovery side of things.
Yeah.
And, it's something else that's back open that unfortunately could have been lost in the storm. But I'm glad to see that they're not giving up and they're rebuilding and they're working to get it back open for all the kids. So
yeah, same. I'm excited. I'm excited for River to go this week, and we'll keep you posted on what it's like.
Yeah. So anyway, it's very crazy to me that it's taken this long, and it just kind of reminds you of the process after a natural disaster. But we are slowly but surely rebounding.
Yeah.
So thanks for sticking with us, guys, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys. Anchor Moms is a Sinclair podcast produced out of WLOS in Asheville. We're your hosts, Katie Killen and Karen Zakalak. Anchor Moms is edited by Matthew Yates.
For more information on the topics discussed in this episode and to stay up to date on future episodes, follow us on Instagram @AnchorMoms.
You can follow Anchor Moms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Know a parent who could benefit from this week's Anchor Moms episode? Your recommendations help our show to grow, so spread the word.